Sorry about that.
All right. So, so when we start off, usually what happens, we're going to kind of do a little bit of a role play, so I hope you enjoy it.
Yes.
We usually, I guess we'll start off with you. So,
Okay.
So you're going to be the normal person, and I'm going to be
normal is normal.
Normal is not normal, but
so
you go ahead and start.
Okay. So oh my God. Let's see. It is 3:00. It's 3:00. It's Valentine's Day, and I still haven't heard. Well, I got a little bit of time left, so maybe it's not so bad. We talked last night, and he was okay, and I still haven't heard from him. And I'm seeing my coworkers. They got the flower. How come this person in my cubicle next to me got all those roses? And oh my God, I'm just. Well, it's going to turn out. I know he's going to call. I know I'm going to get some roses pretty soon. I know that's going to happen. Oh my God, it's 6:00. It's 6:00 now. Still no call. I got to call. I got to do something. I just have to do something. So, ring, 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 ring. Ring, 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 ring.
Hello.
Mr. Narc.
Hello.
Yeah, what's going on? How are you
I've been so busy today. You have no idea what a busy day I've had. It's been absolutely swamped.
So okay. What about Valentine's Day? It's the day is almost over. I didn't hear from you all day, so we still have time to do something today because it's Valentine's Day.
Did you not just hear what I said? I'm really busy. I'm still at work. There's all kinds of stuff. Of course, I know it's Valentine's Day, but I have all these things. Like, you're not listening to me.
Well, I hear you. I hear what you say. I know you're busy, but I remember you said that holidays were really important to you. You said Valentine's Day was really important to you, and you understand the importance of.
Are you recording everything I say like that? When did I even say that? The thing is that today is really busy. I've got tons of things. I've got a deadline and all this other stuff to do. And what are you going on about? What are you going on about?
So I just thought maybe even if we don't have to do anything, even if you wanted to cook something, I'll cook something, you can come over.
So now you want me to cook something for you?
Well, I mean, I'll cook something and you can come over and we can hang out, and that way you can still relax, and maybe we could do something. Did you not send flowers or anything today?
Oh my gosh, you're making this all about you. Don't I get you enough stuff as it is? I'm always taking care of you. You always are getting things all the time. So why are you coming up with, now you want flowers? You're wanting this because it's Valentine's Day? Do you not understand how incredibly commercialized Valentine's is? This is just a way that people get people to society is just jerry-rigged so that you'll just have lots and lots of commercialism and all of that. This is just a holiday for chocolates and roses and all of that. Do you know that roses are so expensive during this day?
Okay.
I always get you lots of stuff all the time.
Well, I just thought at least a text today or something would have worked.
Did you not know that I'm
You're
super
right.
busy?
You're
I'm
busy.
always working.
I've seen you busy.
I have a lot of things going on today.
Okay. I know you're busy. All
right. Well, I need to get going. You're going to be so into all of this. I can't deal with this drama. I've got a deadline that I need to finish up. So you're just gonna have to deal with that later. I'll talk to you later.
Okay, I understand. Does that look familiar? Does that feel familiar to something that you have experienced, especially on holidays such as Valentine's Day? What we would like you to do is, as you watch that interaction between the two of us, shoot us some comments on what you saw happening. Some of you are very familiar with the various strategies and things that narcissists do, the things that they do to have power and control over people that they're in a relationship with. What did you see happen on both sides? And we're going to also go through that.
Yeah. So we started off where the person who is in the relationship with the narcissist.
Okay. Oh, wait, just a second. Before we go through that, I want to do a little bit of education.
Yes.
A little bit of education first. There is a predictable pattern. So I want you to know that there's a predictable pattern. And if you've been researching narcissism, you've heard about that. And we're gonna point out how each one of these predictable behaviors showed up in this particular conversation. It would start off when a narcissist first meets a person. I want to just show you how that dynamic just keeps going throughout the relationship. When they first meet the person, they target, first of all, they say, is this a person? Is this a person that I can get fuel from? Is this someone where I'm going to get what it is I'm looking for, what it is I need? If it's yes, then they start the love bombing stage. So let's back up. Targeting. When they're targeting a person, will they believe me? Will they trust me? Will I be able to get fuel from them? Will they give me a ton of approval? Will they give me lots of validation? Will they believe my lies? Will they support me? Will they allow me to blame them? Are they very empathetic? Will they believe just about anything I say just because I said it? If I say I really care for you, will they believe me regardless of what I do? Because they know they're not going to be able to pull off a false acting job, a false self for very long. So is this a person that's impressionable, so to speak? And then they love bomb them and then let them know you're wonderful, you're awesome, you're the best thing since ice cream, you're the best thing that I'm so glad I love you. I ran into you. I can't believe we're so compatible. They're gathering data. They're getting to know you. I want to hear you. I want to know what you're into. I want to know what you like, what you don't like. Oh my God, I like that too. Oh my God, I love that too. They start mirror you and they become that perfect person, that perfect mate.
So that's the second stage,
that's the
right?
second
So the first
stage.
one, they target you to kind of check and see, are you going to put up with their behavior?
Yes.
Then the second stage is this love bombing where they just shower you with all kinds of attention or gifts or whatever it is that's going to win you over. Is that the best way of putting it?
Yes, they make promises and you're like, oh my God, this is the one. I cannot believe someone so perfect was by themselves. Those women, they were crazy. Those men, those guys, whoever it was, they were crazy to leave this person. So because they're in the perfect stage. And then once there is there may be a disagreement, there might be conflict. It may not be the first time, they may have gotten by with it a couple of times, but something happens and they realize that, number one, you're not perfect. Number two, they can't pull it off anymore. When you don't agree with them and you start standing up for yourself, or you say no, or you say, I can't do this, I don't want to do that, well, will you listen to me? Will you be there for me? That type of thing. When the demands of a healthy relationship, the demands of closeness, of honesty, of vulnerability, when that kicks in, they start pulling away and they might go into what we call narcissistic rage, or they go into distancing strategies. So they may start blaming, they may come up with excuses, they may become angry, they start withdrawing, they start shutting down. We call it the devaluation stage. So before you were way up here on this pedestal, and now you're way down here on this. I can't believe you're so sensitive. I can't believe you're so needy after all I've done, that type of thing. And then they go through a nice mean cycle, the devaluation stage. So now we've jumped off the cliff. They're good over here. They say one thing over here, they do something else. They say something else and they do something else. Their actions are very inconsistent with their words. It's like they were like this. Well, what happened? Who is this person? Nice, mean. They're nice and they're mean. They're nice and they're mean. Something happens in the brain that makes us attached and almost addicted to people that do that. When our brain is real excited and let down, real excited and let down, and then the bar gets lowered as far as what we expect in a relationship. And so then now we're in an on-off part where we call the relationship off. Now we're back together. Now we're off. Now we're back together. That on-off switch. So then that's that. It's kind of like the fourth stage. So you have the first one where they targeted you, the second one where they love bombed you, and so you buy into the relationship. Right.
The third one is where they start devaluing you and they start noticing that you're starting to say no, you're starting
Right.
to speak up for yourself, so you're
Yes.
no longer okay with all of their behavior that they were testing you on initially. And then they start withdrawing, then coming back, so it's nice, mean, nice, mean. So we've got
Right.
to four
And when
stages. Okay.
they're in the withdrawal state, when you've broken up, when there's distance, when they feel you pulling away, they start doing what we call hoovering. And hoovering is where they kind of go into some love bombing again. But what they will do is they will also use negative motivations. For example, things like, I miss you, don't you care about me, I can't believe you do something like this, after all I've done for you. If you're a narcissistic abuse survivor, you know exactly what I'm talking about when they're
Okay.
hoovering. They're like, well, they said they won't do it again. I won't do it again. I care about you. What do you need from me? I'll do what you want me to do. Hoovering. And then when they get you, they go back to
like
the
a
side.
bargaining stage.
It's a
kinda
bargaining
like they're
stage.
bargaining with you,
Then they're
trying
gonna-
to lure you back and
Yes.
kind of make promises that they really
Because
can't
they
keep.
want fuel. They need their fuel. And if you were their primary relationship, their primary romance, then you're their number one source of fuel. So they need your attention. It can be angry, it can be sad, it can be hurt, or it can be happy. But whatever it is, they need fuel. They need to know that they are the source of whatever it is that you're feeling. And then the last one, discord. Finally, they don't want you to break up with them. They need to be the one to break up with you. We call it the narcissistic discord.
Just a second. Okay, that makes
makes
perfect sense.
Okay, so those are the stages.
Give me just a second.
Okay.
Looks like. All right. Sorry about that. We're coming back. Okay. So those are the stages of.
A narcissistic relationship, the dynamics.
Okay, trying to get this to work. Oh, let's see. All right. Oh, bear with us. We're
Okay.
still working with the technology.
Okay, so targeting.
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 So targeting was the first part, and then you said love bombing. So
bombing.
that's all that.
It's
Love
like,
bombing.
You're
And
everything
then-
but a bag of chips.
Right. And then there's the devaluation where they start nitpicking
How
you,
dare you.
and how dare you
Yes.
disagree with them.
Yes.
And then the next part is going to be nice, mean, sort of, and then
Confusion.
creating
It causes
confusion.
confusion.
And then the next part is the hoovering, which is, I guess,
In order to keep you from pulling away completely, they give you crumbs, they give you compliments, that's a part of the devaluation and nice mean stage, the hoovering. Please come back, I miss you, I care about you, you're the best thing since ice cream. We've been together forever, we've been together for so long, for 10 years, you don't want to give this up, do you? You don't, that type of thing.
okay.
That's hoovering.
And then the last
Discord.
part is where they break up with you.
Ghosting. They're gone.
Ghosting.
And
Okay.
they're gone after X amount of time, after all these compliments, after all the hoover, they're done. They need to be the one to leave. They need to have the power and the control. So
Okay.
those are stages.
So in the little skit that we kind of did at the beginning,
Yes.
we started off where Dee was playing the role of the narcissistic victim, and it was Valentine's Day, and she was just wanting to know what was going on with him. I mean, you were talking about
Yes.
you were checking the time. You were talking about you were wondering what was going on with him. You hadn't heard from him.
So what would you all call that? Any of you watching, shoot a note and type, what do you think was going on with that? What is I call it the partner of the narcissist. What is it that they are doing? What is it that they are doing? When you think about those stages I just mentioned and the behaviors of the narcissist, what about the behaviors of the narcissistic abuse survivor? They have their own set of behaviors as well. And so it's noon, it's lunchtime, it's 3 o'clock, it's 6 o'clock, and the person is worrying and concerned about the fact that there's been no communication with their love object, so to speak,
Right,
with their
right.
narcissist. So what do you all think was happening?
So I'm not seeing anything right here. I'm not able to pull it
Okay.
all up. So we'll just move on with that.
Okay.
But what's happening is that is that you're not getting any response whatsoever. They're
right.
just completely
They're
ignoring
feeling
you.
ignored, and they're feeling ignored. They're feeling insecure. So attachment styles and trauma bonds is a big part of this type of relationship. So the person's attachment style, they may have the way they show up in a relationship is from a place of being insecure. That insecurity has been triggered. That insecurity was triggered. Now they're beginning to worry, and this is a very, very familiar place for this person. Worry. Oh my God, what is happening? Last night we spoke, everything was fine. 12, 14 hours later, it's as if this day isn't happening. This person told me how important this day was to them. What happened?
Then they probably were saying that it was they were probably saying, the narcissist was probably saying, hey, this is really important to me during the love bombing stage.
The love bombing stage. That would have been the love bombing stage.
So they would have been talking about, oh, I'm such a romantic. I love doing wonderful things for my loved one, and blah, 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 blah. That kind of hooks that they're putting out there. So that sets up the future victim
and as
to have a certain expectation that's really high, and then Valentine's Day comes around, and the narcissist had been talking about at some point in the past how great it was, and how much they love giving flowers, and how much they whatever it is that they love.
And as an empath, you remember the love bombing stage. You remember it like yesterday. And you so long for that stage to come back. You remember, you hung on every word. You thought, this is it. Finally, these holidays are going to be awesome. Valentine's Day is going to be awesome. I can't wait to see so you clung to that. And you took that as truth. And so in spite of what probably has happened, is there has been plenty of holidays that have been ruined. Reality is that there have been plenty of times where the person said things and they let you down, and their actions did not line up with their words, and now here it is once again. And so what that person is doing is they're hanging on to the fantasy, they're hanging on to it and not letting it go.
So during the targeting time, they figured out that you would buy a fantasy.
Yes.
And then during the love bombing stage, they sold you this fairy tale of romance or whatever it is that would have worked for you.
Right.
To hook you in, and then you long for it. You're just trying to see, when will that actually happen? And this holiday will be different. This Valentine's Day will be the best one. Or like, I haven't had a good Valentine's Day. I finally found someone who really...
It's like a knight in shining. This knight in shining armor is finally going to rescue me. Now, another thing that happens is this partner is putting all the actions into the hands of the narcissist. The narcissist is the one that has control of this situation, and they're just sitting back saying, make me feel good, make me feel good, make me feel good. And so in this particular scenario, and so that's another thing that happens. A secure person is not sitting back saying, let me feel good, make me feel good. So there would have already been plans. There would have already been a time. We already are real clear on what we're going to do on this day. In this scenario that we did, this skit that we did, the person was just hoping to be surprised.
Right. They were wanting the fairy tale, the knight in shining armor, to come in and make everything, have the bed of rose petals or whatever it is that they're trying to do. So we're talking about how this is an insecure attachment, obviously a narcissist and an empath being a very dramatic case of that. But even in other relationships where it isn't what we call a secure attachment, which is part of attachment styles. When a secure attachment, if I'm understanding you correctly, is that you would have you would have plans. Like, what are we doing
You
on
would have
Valentine's
plans.
Day?
You already know
Let's-
what you're going to do on Valentine's Day, and whether or not you view this as an awesome day or not is not dependent on what the other person says or does.
And you're not waiting on them.
You're not waiting.
You work
If it's
together.
important to you, you're not waiting. You're going to make sure that you're going to have a good day, and it's not in their hands. And if there has been a pattern of being let down on holidays, then you're not going to have the expectation that that's going to happen.
Right.
You're probably not going to be in the relationship, but
Right,
if
you
you
have that,
do
yeah.
remain, you're not going to have this unrealistic expectation that this person's going to suddenly surprise you. Now the flowers through the door is for you. You're not going to be holding on to that. There's not all this obsession and focus and thoughts and talk about the other person. That day, you decide how that day is going to look for you and whether or not you're going to have a great day.
Right. So that would be as you're moving healthier.
Yes.
So
Yes.
in the skit, we started off and she was obsessing. She was in that obsessive stage.
Right.
So we were in the cycle of targeting, love bombing, devaluation, the nice mean cycle, and then the hoovering and discard. Which cycle were we most likely demonstrating?
That would have been more toward that targeting stage, because at the beginning, when the narcissist targeted you before, they sized you up.
Okay.
They unconsciously, is this a secure or insecure person?
Oh, okay. Very.
Is this a
It's
secure or insecure? Are you secure or are you insecure? Are you solid? Are you grounded? Do you make whole decisions? Do you have expectations that others are going to treat you a certain way? Or will I be able to get away with these
making promises
demeaning
that you don't
that I
keep?
don't keep?
Yeah.
So
Or
that got
lies.
triggered.
Okay.
That's what I mean when I say the attachment side. When we go into worry, especially if you have a preoccupied, anxious attachment style, that's your default. You worry.
And so you were demonstrating that worry.
Yes, you
yeah.
worry.
Yeah.
So then the narcissist, then they decided to call. At the end of the day, they decided to call the narcissist, and then the narcissists start doing what they do, talking about themselves,
Right.
focusing on how his own day went. Didn't bring it up, didn't mention it or anything like that.
Didn't talk about Valentine's Day, got mad at her because she brought up that it was Valentine's Day. And just kept talking about how busy they were.
Yes.
And then got angry that you were having expectations.
Yes. So when the narcissist realized that the person was adamant about, wait a minute, I'm over here. This is Valentine's Day. You hadn't said a thing. You hadn't acknowledged it much or anything, and you definitely haven't acknowledged that we might be getting together or that we're going to do something for this day. When that didn't happen, what that did was cause a narcissistic injury. It caused a narcissistic injury. And what that means is the narcissistic's shame was triggered. Shame is one of the feelings that they go through, the false self, because what that means is the narcissist has this mask. I am an awesome partner. I am an awesome worker. I am better than everybody else, and it just couldn't get any better than me. And when you say you haven't done this, when you're communicating this, you haven't done this, or you didn't do this, or why did you do, the only thing they interpret is you are criticizing me and you're telling me that I am not God. You're telling me that I'm not superior. You're telling me that I am inferior, and that's just not going to work. Because the narcissist deep down has this sense of shame and that they don't measure up, and they need people around them to convince them that they do measure up and that they are everything in a bowl of, what do they call it, a bowl of bag of chips.
And a bag of chips, right.
So they need all this validation, they need all this approval, and they need you to just constantly give them that fuel so they can stick their chest out. So when you say you didn't do this, you just injure them, and then they're going to react in rage.
And now their facade it has a tarnish on it, and they get mad at you because you pointed it out.
That they're not perfect. You have not been perfect today. You have not done something that's perfect today. So narcissistic rage, and now we're going into devaluation, and that's when the person starts shaming, put downs. I can't believe you're being so selfish. I can't believe you're just thinking about yourself. What do you expect from me? What do you want from me? What does anybody want from me?
Yes, how much I'm working so hard. I'm always giving you stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Why is this such a big deal to you?
Mm-hmm. Yes. And they could communicate this mean, or they can communicate it kind. It's still about them. They can say, I'm just so tired today. This is the covert narcissist. I'm so tired today. Can you just, will you just do something else? We'll just do something else. They may not even address it at all. A narcissist will tend to not even address it at all, as if you never even brought up Valentine's Day. They just address that you are not supporting them with what they're going through at the moment.
Oh, that's very covert right there.
Yes,
it's
very
like, oh,
covert.
wait a second. It's Valentine's Day,
Yes.
a partnership day,
Right.
and you want to hang out with your partner, with your
Right.
loved one, and they're saying, I'm too tired.
Right, because they fear intimacy. This is an avoidant, and
Okay.
this is a dismissive avoidant, and this person fears closeness, intimacy, and being vulnerable. Well, what day of the entire year where there is a demand on intimacy, on doing something, intimacy, doing something close that makes you close, well, that doesn't make them feel good. Matter of fact, it's a day where people are supposed to be happy, right? And so they are aware that there is a goal of happiness here. The narcissist is aware that there is a goal, that you want to be happy, you want to enjoy yourself. Well, that's not giving them the fuel that they want, because when you're happy, what it does is trigger their shame, and it triggers that they're not happy. The narcissist ultimately...
It reminds them that they're not
happy. It reminds them, yes.
And then also, they're not your... So not only does it remind them that they really aren't happy, but it also... you're not happy... they're not the cause of your happiness. Isn't
they're
there
not
a thing,
the source of your happiness,
right?
Yes,
so they want to be
source
the
of your
everything,
happiness.
because that goes with that facade that they have. Right?
And even when they do things and make you happy, it doesn't last.
Right?
It doesn't last, because they've got to prove that you are down here and they're up here. They've got to have that. So when you are miserable, upset, frustrated, angry, raging, having a fit, depressed, can't work, blaming, when you're crying and all of that, throwing things, they're like, they're down here, I'm up here. See how sick you are. Get it together. Get yourself together. How long do I have to take care of you? You are down here. You are a nutcase here. It doesn't register, and they don't care anyway that if they're the cause of that.
So they're the ones who are doing things that make you feel upset, that make you feel crazy, and then you get upset and you start calling them on it, and then they get a certain way. They start feeling their shame.
Now
triggered.
Their shame is triggered.
Their shame is triggered.
They got to do something about that, and then they come back.
And then they make you look less than, so that they can feel superior again. And now, in their world, all is right again, because they're superior and you're inferior.
At the end of the day, the two of you cannot be happy at the same time. Do you ever notice that? You're not usually happy when you're around a narcissist. They're happy. You're not usually happy at the same time. There might be moments when they're in the nice phase where there's some, but overall, your gut tells you deep down that you're not happy. You're not joyous in this relationship. This is not a fulfilling relationship. So you're down here and they're down up here, and it has to be like that in order because otherwise that has to always happen in their mind. There has to always be a winner, and there has to always be a loser.
And they want to be the winner.
They have to be the winner.
They have to be the winner.
Yes, because
so if you get happy, if they did things that made you happy, or let's say you had a great day at work, or you got the promotion, then they would be sure to do something to
pretend they never heard you say it. You never said a word about it. It didn't. They just start talking about themselves, or they might make a statement about, right, and then they just start talking about something else. It's not acknowledged. It's not validated.
So they wouldn't say, "Hey, good job. I'm proud of you." They would just say, "Okay," and then go to something else about how have plans, or they are so good, and their job is so amazing.
Right. If they're in the hoovering stage, they might say that, and if they're in the targeting and the love bombing stage early on, they might say that. But it doesn't last. It switches pretty quickly to them and about what's going on with them, because what they'll do is they tend to talk about their accomplishments over and over and over and over.
That thing that they did 20 years ago.
And how wonderful they are and how wonderful everybody thinks they are, over and over and over. And they plant that in your head. They plant that in your psyche, their accomplishments over and over and over again. So they will talk about their accomplishments, and it's a way of, I'm up here and you're down here. So yeah, you think you did all of that. Well, look at what I've done. Look at what I've got going on. I've got a lot going on at work. I've got a ton of stuff. I have a lot of responsibility. People are looking for me. People are looking up to me. I've got this going on. I'm so tired. It shows up in so many facets, so many different ways. So
I'm just reading. I'm finally pulling up these two comments.
Okay.
There was some where it was like that she wanted so much to believe in the lie. And so, yeah, that's something that we really get into, is that they sell such a beautiful fairy tale. You totally want to buy into it. And then the other thing was that there were moments that you hung on to where you believed that both of you were happy. And
yes.
Yeah, that's true.
Yes, but when you think about it, maybe early on during the love bombing stage, you felt like that. But once devaluation started, you knew there was a part of you deep down that knew you were not fulfilled. You were giving. You were trying to see. You have two people here really with a false face on, and we put on a happy face and we put on a happy mask, but deep down we knew we were not getting the love and the nurturing and the intimacy that we were seeking. So it's heads and tails of the same coin. You have the narcissist on one side of the coin, and you have the person that they team up with, their partner, on the other sides of the coin. You have two people that have learned to not honor themselves, not know themselves, not invest in themselves, and not really put themselves first, and really the authentic part of themselves. So
both of them are not being authentic, because one is overdoing and one is underdoing, and so
they both want approval. They both want approval. They both want validation. They both want recognition. And they both want, so what happens is you have them doing two different things to try to get it. The narcissist wants approval and validation, and so they find people that will give that to them, and they sit back and they take it, and they do things that might be hurtful to get it. They do things that are hurtful to get it.
So they stir things up.
They stir things up. Say, hey, that's validating that I'm somebody. Yeah, you might be upset with me, but you know what? You wouldn't be upset if you didn't care about me.
Right.
You wouldn't be upset if I wasn't all of that. So they do that, but on the other hand, the other person gives and gives and gives, and that's how they're getting their attention and their validation and their approval, by giving. Let me give to you more. Let me give you my time. Let me give you my energy. Give me approval. Let me give you my love. Give me approval. Let me know I'm okay. Let me know I'm important. So, and the partner is continuing to go to this dry well. There's got to be water in there somewhere. There's got to be water down there somewhere.
It's a well.
And it's empty.
So
it's a well.
It's a well, so it should be full of water.
I've been here forever, all these years. I never got water. I haven't gotten much water. I got a few drops out of this well. There's got to be water in there somewhere. So
we're having a question. Yes, the pain definitely starts to outweigh whatever good feelings that we have, that they're able to do any good that you have.
The pain does. There's this overall big shadow, like this dark shadow that's over the relationship, and every once in a while you get a crumb. And you get a crumb, and you try to latch on to those crumbs. And when friends or family, if they warn you, this isn't working, you're getting crumbs, we dismiss it, we minimize it, and we continue to stay in that cycle.
So the question is, how do you get healthier? Whether in
how do you get healthier? Yes.
Yeah. So even if you're an underdoer or an overdoer, it's specifically.
Right. So I mentioned at the beginning of the stage where the partner was obsessing and the partner was focusing on the other person. So it's important that you decide what is joy. How are you going to get joy in your life? You are responsible, and you take full responsibility for your joy, your happiness, your hopes, your desires, your days. From this moment on, from now until your head hits the pillow tonight, you can decide to do whatever it is you need to do to have an awesome day. That's where it starts. Stop focusing on someone else outside of your skull, outside of your own mind and your own body to make you happy. It's a simple message, but not hard. Your thoughts, if your thoughts are being captured by this person, offset them. Make a list. I'm awesome. I'm wonderful. I'm a fabulous person.
Affirmations.
Affirm yourself. You love on yourself, whatever that looks. Many people, it's cheesy. It's weird. People will send themselves these flowers.
Yes, right.
Right.
So what you're doing, what's happening in this situation is the person is the victim is putting all of their faith in the other person to fulfill their needs instead of taking responsibility for their needs.
Yes.
So when she's saying, think about yourself, it's about having a healthy understanding of what you like and what your needs are, and then being able to meet them in your own way without it. Because I know that when you're saying that, it sounds like, well, that sounds like the narcissist who's always thinking about themselves. But the difference here, I think, is that they're not putting all of the responsibility for happiness on someone else. You take back responsibility to take care of yourself. Whatever that is. If you want flowers, get the flowers.
Right.
If you want give me just a second. If you want the flowers, take the flowers or send yourself flowers. Yeah. If you want chocolates, get yourself chocolates. Or if you're in a healthy relationship, you could communicate, hey, I would like flowers. Valentine's Day is coming up. I love flowers. I would really like some flowers, and I'd really like some chocolates or whatever. I'd like to go out to dinner. Whatever it is that you would want to do, then you express that. You have the security in yourself to be able to say, this is what I would like. And also to ask them, what would you like?
And give it a definite cutoff. If you want to do something, I want to hear from you by such and such. Give it a cutoff. Have a plan B. You take an active role in your joy and your happiness and develop that relationship with self. Because what we're trying to do is we want you to develop a learned, secure attachment where you learn to feel secure, hopeful, joyful, happy, peaceful, no matter what's going on around you. That's what a secure attachment would look like. And nobody can do that for you but you. I know with my clients, we talk a lot about inner child, and we talk about you taking care of that little child in you. When we're in panic, when we're in fear, when we're sad, when we're hopeless, that's like a little child. When you think about it, you feel like a little child, right? We feel like a little child. That means there's a part of you that needs some attention. You are the only one that can really take care of that little child that's in a panic, say, oh my God, this is happening. And there is a wise person in you. There's a wise woman. There's a wise man. There's a wise person in you that knows what you need to do to take care of that little one inside of you. It doesn't come from the other person. Because if your joy and your hopes and your peace and your wonderful day comes from someone else outside of you, then you're giving them all that power, and they have the power to decide, look, Mary, look, John, look, Pam, look, Claudia, look,
right.
Dee, you're going to have a bad day today. I'm just going to let you know, look, I'm going to ignore you all day.
Right.
You know, you're going to have a bad day today. You know, I'm going to ignore you. I'm going to make you feel bad. I'm going to demean you. I'm going to put you down. I'm going to make you not important. Yes, I said I was going to do, but you know what? My actions are not going to follow my words. So you're going to have a bad day today. Here, take this. Take my shame. Take my frustration. Here, take this, and you have a bad day today. You get to decide. You get to decide what you want to do with this day and with the rest of the evening.
Right. This day and every day.
And every day.
So by owning and being responsible for your own feelings and your own happiness, really, and making that intention, like, okay, I'm going to be responsible. That doesn't necessarily mean it's just you,
right?
But being responsible can also be asking someone else, like, hey, I would like in this instance, hey, Valentine's Day is important to me. This is how I'd like to celebrate it.
Yes.
Does that sound like something you can do with me? And then if they say no, then that's okay. And you take care of yourself. You make other plans that are going to meet your needs.
And you use that data. Just know that, you know, I'm in a relationship, or whoever the person is, where we have different values. Just because a person doesn't value a certain day the way you do it, doesn't mean that they're a bad person, and it doesn't mean they're a narcissist. So you have your values and you have your experiences, and for some people holidays are very important. For others, they're just not. And it's just the way that they were raised. So it's not always a really bad thing. But what you do is you honor yourself. That's the thing. We don't focus on the other person. You honor yourself. So if it's important to you, then you do something about it. But if there are certain things that are deal breakers and you have this pattern, if there's this pattern of inconsistent, no, I'm with this person and they're inconsistent. They say one thing and they do something else. They act like a certain thing and then they do something else. If you have that, no, why am I in a relationship with someone like that? Do I want to continue a relationship with someone like that? If you're married, if you're in the relationship and there's all these inconsistencies, there's this come close, go away, come close, go away, there's this dance, and you decide to stay in that relationship, you can still learn, how do I remain grounded? How do I remain peaceful? How do I remain joyful in the midst of this hurricane, in the midst of this? Expect this is what this person is going to do. I'm not going to have these. So the other tip.
They're a hurricane. They're not going to be consistent.
They're not going to be consistent.
They're going to do that. They're going to create a lot of drama.
They're going to do what they do.
So if you decide to stay in that, you know that you're in a relationship with a dramatic hurricane type of person, and then you decide what you're going to do around that to be more safe.
Yes.
Or to be more happy.
If they don't show up, if they haven't shown up over the last 10 years for you, for your needs, that's just what they do. And we accept this is reality. One of the biggest things that narcissistic abuse struggle with is reality. They struggle with the reality of their needs and wants, and they struggle with the acceptance of the reality of what other people needs and wants are. If that person didn't call you, why? Because they didn't want to call you. If that person didn't show up for you, why? Because they didn't show up for you, because they didn't want to. If that person isn't there for you and they don't support you, why? Because they don't want to support you. That is a hard truth, and that is a hard reality.
Painful.
We do. It's painful. We do what it is we want to do. At the end of the day, we make time for what we want to make time for. You make time for you. That's the only one that you really need to rely on is you.
So, all of those, so those are some of more healthy behaviors, and I hope that you have a couple of tips to help you with this day. Hopefully you're having an awesome day, but in case you're in a relationship with either a narcissist or someone who is less healthy, maybe, then, take care of you, love you. And if you want to work with us, you can definitely call Dee. The information will be below. Right. And book sessions with her for therapy. Or you can book sessions with me related to increasing your self-confidence, your self-esteem, your self-identity, and being able to feel safe to have that voice, to be able to say that. If there's something deeper or you want to talk it out a little bit more, then definitely we work together a lot. So you can work with us both.
Yes, and one of the things I do want to mention is that I do have a book that's on pre-order on Kindle right now on Amazon. It's called the Narcissistic Abuse Recovery Kit: The Road Back to Sanity.
Yeah.
And one of my famous phrases in there is that you are not crazy, you are not sick, you are not insane. You are a narcissistic survivor, and there